Hello and welcome. It is the World Mission Update. My name is Rusty Humphries. That guy, he's Greg Kelley. And, wow, we've got some stories for you. So, Thursday, I get a text from Greg. Hey, Rusty, something's going down in Kenya. You want to go? Well, sure, when? Next Monday. What?
That's how we roll, buddy. That's how we roll.
That's how you roll. I guess you're there when the need arises. You know, when it's there, you're there to make a difference wherever it is in the world. Now, we got a problem on our last trip, we had to leave early I did, because of COVID. Now we're going in the middle of it. What's the deal? What's going on?
Well, there's so much up in the air, Rusty. Countries are changing from moment to moment. I was trying actually to get to Indonesia and the Philippines. We have just such a growing work there this fall. And I just got word from our guys that now I can come in early 2021. So that's at least I'm getting some clarity. But as far as trying to get in there this fall, there's no way that can happen. And every country is different. They're open, they're closed. You can get visa upon arrival. You have to have a visa electronically 14 days ahead. You have to have a negative COVID response within 72 hours. And it might take 72 hours for you to get your results here. So there's just so many different dynamics and variables.
Okay, well, let's talk about, what we have to do to get out of the country. I was just told I got to go get I think hepatitis A, they suggest. I got my little card. I'm supposed to go get a test. Not a test, but a shot today. Should I go get a COVID test?
Well, yeah. The COVID test is going to be a necessity to have a negative COVID test for a lot of these countries.
Will we have enough time? Today's Tuesday. We're leaving next Monday.
We're leaving next Monday. That's the excitement of working with World Mission, Rusty. You just on your toes. I threw Bangladesh, Nepal at you. And we had the fun of are we going to Nepal, aren't we? And last minute. So, I like to keep you on your toes, Rusty. That's part of they say in the mission world, the number one attribute and characteristic outside of loving Jesus, right? And you want to share the gospel is being flexible. So
okay.
You are outstanding.
So I'm doing okay. I'm fitting in.
Flying colors.
Okay, good. So, visa upon arrival, most countries that most Americans go to, European countries and stuff, we don't really need visas, right? We just bring our passport, show up, everything's okay.
There's a long list of countries that as a U.S. citizen, you just kind of cruise right through. They stamp your passport. There's I don't want to say a growing list, but there's other countries that, and quite honestly, the unfortunate aspect of that as it involves missions is a lot of the countries where you could just kind of cruise in and no problem with your American passport are ones that are primarily Christian countries.
Okay.
Or easily accessible with the gospel. And it's just one more very practical example of barriers to the gospel, because the countries where you have to get a visa ahead of time and go through a longer application process are the ones that don't have a Christian influence. So it's just another reminder to us in the world of missions and the Great Commission of why it is that these countries are still unreached 2,000 years after Jesus gave us the Great Commission.
Okay, so we're in the middle of a dilemma right now. You were just telling me as we were about to record, I went, no, this is the show. So what is going on right now?
Right now in Kenya.
No. We'll get to Kenya in a second. How do we get to Kenya? Right now, we don't know if we can even get in from what you just told me a minute ago.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Right now, it's just we're still trying to get clarifying information on the visa. Some sources in Kenya are telling us you can get the visa upon arrival, and other sources are saying you have to get it ahead of time, 14 days. Some are saying don't worry about having a COVID negative response. And others are saying without that, they won't let you in the country. And so there's just right now, there's so much contradictory information out there. It's just trying to settle on and what is actual fact. And I think a lot of times in missions, you just have to pull the trigger and make a decision with partial information, just like we did when we were in Bangladesh.
Yeah.
can we even get back into America? We're hearing just all kinds of reports of Europe, China, and everything else. And all you can do is just make the best decision you can. You don't want to be reckless. So
right. My decision was goodbye, and yours was I'm keeping going, and I regret that decision, to be honest. But so are you at this point? Are you thinking you got a guy in the ground that says no problem? You've got websites saying you can't do it. Are you still going? We're in, or how are you feeling right now?
For me, my tolerance for the unknown is probably greater than the average person. Mm-hmm. So I still have a high level of confidence. We're going to get in there. It might be delayed a month, but
I mean, are you thinking we're on the plane Monday?
My hope is to still get on the plane on Monday. Right now, that's where I'm at. We'll get more information within the next few hours, and then it might change a little bit, and you'll be the first call I make. But heads up now, you and I are planning on going on Monday as of this moment right now.
Okay. Why is it so important that we go to Kenya Monday? What was it that out of the blue that made you say there's something big going on in Kenya and we got to get there?
So there's a couple things going on. One is that our network that is not just Kenya, because Kenya is one country in a hub that's called the Horn of Africa.
Show us that on the map, would you?
So the Horn of Africa it just kind of jets up right there. So you can see it just looks literally like a rhino horn that scoots up. And that's Somalia primarily. So Somalia represents really, I would say, the center of the bullseye when you say the Horn of Africa from a mission standpoint, because it's 99% Muslim. It's incredibly different and difficult to do ministry there. That's why you and I are not getting on an airplane and going to Mogadishu. But we can go into Kenya, Nairobi, and still have great impact in Somalia because of our network. So our network for the Horn of Africa is really centralized in Kenya. And now that consists of Kenya, consists of Somalia, Ethiopia, Eritrea, which is further to the north. And then one of my favorite countries' name is Djibouti, D-J-O-U-B-T-I.
Okay.
I love Djibouti. So all those are the Horn of Africa.
Those are good. Let me ask you that. You said Kenya. We're not going to Somalia. I mean, I've been to some bad places. Somalia is not on my list of, tourist attractions.
Did I forgot to mention that to you? I'm really...
Yeah, whoopsie. No, we're not going to Somalia. We're not going to go and hang out with the fine Boko Haram fellas.
No, we're not going to Somalia. It's interesting when you look at the world list of difficulties from, so human rights issues, persecution issues, infant mortality issues, poverty levels. You're going to have North Korea, Afghanistan, Somalia, not necessarily in that order. Maybe it's Somalia, North Korea, Afghanistan. They're literally 1, 2, 3 on almost every list.
Wow.
And so for a lot of reasons, Somalia is real strategic when it comes to engaging places where the gospel's never been. So in Nairobi, Kenya is really the key to that because it has such a long border. We all hear about Al-Shabaab, the refugee camps that we've spoken of many times on the World Mission Update, and Dadaab. Up until a year ago, Rusty, Dadaab was the largest refugee camp in the world, and that had been running for about the better part of 2 decades. That was the case. Up until recently, where the one that we visited in Bangladesh, the Rohingya, exceeded that as far as largest camps in the world. And so prior to that, it was always Dadaab was number one, and it's filled with hundreds of thousands, primarily from the wars in Sudan and Congo. And then, of course, many, many Somalis are inside of those refugee camps. So it's really a strategic place for us to go to. But I'll also say, as I say, Kenya is a real important area to engage Somalis. There's about 4 million Somalis, 99% Muslim, in Kenya. There's over 7 million in Ethiopia. Wow. Same statistics. So Ethiopia is actually even has a higher concentration of unreached people groups than even Kenya. And so even though we go to Kenya, we're meeting with partners, national partners that are impacting all of those countries. That's a big reason why we're going, taking in treasures, and just really going to encourage them. And, now is actually not a bad time to go because not too many people are traveling, and so you have to take all those things into consideration.
Yeah. The other thing that I've learned in this past week is, and we talk about how World Mission is such a great steward of your kind donations. One of the things I learned is that it's actually more effective and less expensive to send somebody like me to help go over there with them than it is just to ship the treasures over there. It is prohibitively expensive to just box it up, send it to FedEx or UPS or whatever the shipping company is, and send to Kenya. Correct?
Yeah. That's absolutely right.
Like thousands and thousands of dollars for what we could go for $700.
Yeah, and a lot of times you're disconnected basically from it when you just send it blindly through UPS or DHL. Those infrastructures, you are totally at the mercy of whoever the customs officials are. And so they can, you'll get, in some cases, we could get charged up to $5 a unit in customs and duties. So you say, okay,
that's on top of shipping costs, right?
On top of shipping costs. So you say, well, that's $5. What's a big deal? And we do have that built into our model, but it just takes all of the any excess that we have that we might use. Let's remember, when we say it's $40 to send a treasure, that covers the royalty, that allows us to buy the hardware. We have to ship it there. But then once it gets to Nairobi or Addis Ababa or Brazzaville, Congo, or wherever it happens to go, that's not the end destination. It needs to get into the remote areas. So you have people driving Jeeps, driving motorcycles. We've shown photos in the Philippines of horses. How are you going to get those horses? You have to buy the transportation mechanisms. So that $40 is investing in a lot of things. It's not just when we tell someone, when you give us $40, when we say we'll place a treasure, we mean that will start a listening group. And a lot of things go into that before that listening group can start to get it into the mountains of Pakistan. Yeah. So just getting that box to Karachi is just the beginning. Getting it into the mountains and targeting people and doing the follow-up, all those things happen. So you're right. It's expensive.
And when you were saying it could be as high as $5 a unit, is that like going to go in the pocket of that guy that says I want $5 a unit? Sometimes, I mean, it's so different than America. That's how a lot of guys make a living, right?
Coming back to that whole issue of what are hindrances to the gospel, one of the hindrances to the gospel, almost universally so, is corruption. And so when you're dealing, and I'm not saying every custom official in Africa is corrupt, but I know that there's layers and layers. I've heard it over and over and over again. And this is not exclusive to Africa. You can talk about India, you can talk about China, you can talk about Cambodia, wherever you want to go. If you've got someone with that much authority who sees a box that comes through, a lot of times that gets padded and money just goes to individuals, and they're sort of cronies. So it's part of the.
They kind of feel like that's part of their salary.
I think so. I think there's this acceptance in a lot of places that I've been of paying bribes. Yeah. So I'm not equating paying customs and duties to bribes, but in the culture of these places, if you want to get from point A to point B, and you're not willing to pay a bribe, there's things that are just not going to happen. Right. And I've been with missionaries, both American and national missionaries, who have been willing to pay bribes, and they just accept that, hey, this is part of the deal. I gotta give this guy $20 in order for him to allow us to pass on this road so we can get to that village where we're trying to share the gospel.
Right.
And then I've also been with missionaries, both American and nationals, who refuse under any circumstance to pay a penny in bribes because it conflicts with their moral compass. Yeah. And I don't judge them, but
I mean, the way I look at it, you got to pay the airline to get there, right? I mean, unfortunately, it's just the way it is.
Kind of putting it into an expense column, and I think I would say, are bribes necessary? My answer would be, it depends. Yeah. It depends, because I wouldn't have a problem in giving someone $20. Well, I'll give you an example. Mm-hmm. So there's been many a times where I've been in an airport, and I can't tell you, Rusty, the number of times as I've traveled into a country that I've been taken aside and taken into the back room and essentially interrogated. What do you have all these? It's when you've got 300 of these in a box, and they want to know what are you doing. They think it's a business deal, and say no. These are given freely away. I don't have a problem pulling one out and asking that custom official, do you speak this language? Would you like this? Would your family enjoy this? And it changes everything. And they go, really? For me? Like, yeah, I'd like you to have it. And
Right.
A donor of World Mission or the World Mission Update who maybe sent us $40, I don't think they're going to have a problem with that.
That's why you're there. It doesn't matter if they're in the remote village or they're a customs official. That's why you're there, right?
A blessing to that person. Exactly.
Yeah.
They don't have to be in the remote village. They could have someone with a lot of influence. And so we've got no problem with that. But it's essentially in the category of bribe, if you want to look at it like that. And I'm okay with that. So there's times where you kind of have to make exceptions and just use wisdom to navigate you.
All right. Now, normally we do this show once a week. Today we had plans to do 2 because we're going to be traveling. However, I have an idea, Greg.
All right.
We're doing this on a Tuesday. You don't care. You're watching this. It could be Thursday, Friday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You don't know. It doesn't matter. But what I think we should probably do is wait a couple of days because we don't know, as of this recording, if we're even going to Africa. Right. I mean, I think we're going. I think you and I are going to go, hey, we're going. If we got to sit in the airport for a couple of days, that would really suck, but we'd do it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
You and I can bang out a whole lot of podcasts. I know you have other responsibilities besides Greg in World Mission in your world, but you and I would have a blast. Yeah. Either way, I mean, sitting in an airport in Africa is not the end of the world, but we're saying we're not going to pull the trigger on it unless we have a pretty high sense of confidence that we're going to be able to get in.
Are you going to go get a COVID test today or tomorrow?
More than likely. I don't know. The trick is they have to have it documented. That is the customs, this is immigration. The immigration people that stamp the passport are going to more than likely want to see a certificate that shows you've had a COVID negative test within the last 72 hours. So that requires us to do our test right before we head out. Basically, that's kind of where.
But then, how would we get the information back? I mean, doesn't it take a couple? I guess I got to find out how long it takes to get them back, right?
They'd be emailing or texting it to us, and then once we're kind of en route, we would get the results of it. So we're just playing it by ear right now. But that's what I mean.
What happens if something comes back positive? Oh my goodness!
If something comes back positive, then we call an audible. That's part of missions, being flexible.
Okay.
So you aren't showing any signs of COVID at the moment, are you?
I don't think so.
Symptoms? You look good.
You look good too.
Your nose isn't. You're not runny nose.
No runny nose.
No, I feel all right. Okay.
No. I have put on my COVID-19 though, but 19 pounds. I've got that going.
Oh, you're good, man.
Yeah, I think I'm okay. Although our color on our cameras for some reason is off. You always look nice and tan. I look like I'm in the middle of a COVID death spiral.
Well, you live in a place where it's 120 degrees, and I live in a place where it's 85 and sunny and beautiful every day.
We broke a record here. How hot is it there?
Oh, it's probably 85 and sunny.
Nice. We broke a record, 117.
Oh, there you go. See, I wasn't exaggerating when I said that.
So it's going to be, I was looking at the temperatures in Nairobi. It's going to be cooler in Africa than it is it's going to be like 8. And that's when did the rain, I bless the rains down in Africa, says Toto. The big rain, when's the rainy season start? We're just going to miss that, right? It hadn't started yet.
Yeah, one of the nice things about Nairobi is the climate. So many people base in Nairobi. There's so many mission agencies and missionaries that live in Nairobi, and it's kind of like Denver. It's like a mile-high city. It's almost right on the equator, Nairobi. So it's very you've got the benefit of kind of that warm climate, but yet you're in such a high elevation that it keeps it pretty mild.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's a bit about it for this show. If you would do us a favor, though, and that is help this great organization, one that says in the middle of a world pandemic, there is need, and we're going to go and help fulfill that need. And that's what Greg Kelley and his team at World Mission are doing all over the world. And so if you would please, whether it's $40 or $400 or $4,000 or whatever you can give to help this wonderful organization reach people around the world that need to hear the word of the Lord, go to worldmission.cc. Worldmission.cc. It's right there on your screen. It's going that way. Worldmission.cc. And go there and donate. Greg, wrap it up if you would, please.
Yeah, I think what Rusty and I are talking about, this idea of going, I would just want to remind you that not only do you not have to go, we don't even have to go in order to fulfill Jesus' final words. It's out of we're taking hundreds and hundreds of treasures on this trip. That's the real reason why we're going. But you and I can participate without having to go. That's the beauty of the 2020 and the modern technology. And so just as you're praying for us, we appreciate that. If you're helping with the treasure, that's awesome too. But share the World Mission Update. We want it to be encouragement to not only you, but your friends and family. And we really appreciate you.
We absolutely do. So please, again, go to worldmission.cc. That is worldmission.cc. Tell your friends, call the neighbors, wake the kids, whatever you need to do. But please go to worldmission.cc and help us fulfill the Great Commission. My name is Rusty Humphries. That's Greg Kelley. And we'll see you next time here on the World Mission Update.